So Ethan, this is going to be the third quick chat we're going to be having around the book, The Courage to be Disliked. But towards the end of that book, they sum up the definition of happiness as the idea or the feeling of contribution. So, and I love that. It's simplistic, yes, but it also gives all of us a lot of meaning. So they were just really saying in the book, contribution by being or contribution by doing. So contribution by doing would be an act of service to somebody else. But a contribution by being to somebody is contribution to your parents. By being their son, by being their daughter, you bring so much joy into their lives that you contribute to making it better. And ultimately, knowing that I'm either contributing by being or I'm contributing by doing, that is my happiness. And that is a way to live a fulfilled life. As I say, simple. Man, it stood out to me and I thought it was very powerful.
Yeah, it's there's this concept called life's two mountains. And a lot of us are stuck on the first mountain, which is the mountain of legacy and ego. It's all about ourselves, our brand, our personal freedom. And some people stay stuck there, but you can cross over this chasm onto life's second mountain, which is contribution, commitment, shedding the ego and dissolving yourself. And that is where I believe that true transcendence comes. But you have to cross over that chasm, and that chasm is freedom. A lot of people think, and I'm guilty of it too, that freedom is just personal freedom. Freedom to go where I want, do what I want with whoever I want, having the means to do so is one type of freedom. But I believe that true freedom comes from having that contribution element, because if you're missing that, you still feel unfulfilled. Now, I may be speaking just for myself, and I don't know that everyone will get fulfillment from contribution. I mean, I have people who are very close to me who just straight up say, like, I have no desire to help anyone else. Like, Ethan, that's great that you do, but it just doesn't do anything for me. And I'm all about myself, and that's fine. I mean, especially if you're self-aware and you know that. But for me, it feels like a piece would be missing if I'm not making a contribution. And that's why I'm so passionate about public speaking and teaching and writing books and sharing thoughts to help make a exponential impact in the lives of others, because it scratches that itch for me that I wasn't getting before.
Yeah, I hear you. It's not for everyone, and everyone's going to have their own formula. But the ability to contribute is free and available to anyone and everyone. It's something that we can all do. And if it is an option or an opportunity to step into some form of fulfillment and some form of happiness, man, why not lean into it? As I say, it's something that we can all do. We don't have to be earning X amount of dollars. We don't have to have a certain title behind our names. We don't have to be a professional athlete. We don't have to be all these things to be able to lean in and contribute. It goes back to what we've spoken about before. It goes back to what you and I have spoken to Rich Mulholland around being useful.
Yeah.
It's usefulness. It's how can you be useful to somebody else? And contributing can also be that, are you allowing somebody else to be useful to you? It's both ways. That's a contribution to somebody's life, to allow them to feel like they're able to contribute. You contributed. Yeah. So they're connected. They're just so fully connected.
I think that you and I, we're going to totally agree on this one, because we do this podcast completely out of contribution. Obviously, we're on the same page because we don't get anything, in return from doing this. That, like, we're not getting paid to show up every week and do this podcast. And I think it just comes from our desire to share. We don't have to do it. I mean, this started out of you and I just catching up on Zoom calls after we met each other, and just having personal conversations. We don't have to share our thoughts with the public, but we do it because we have a need to contribute. You and I both have that in common. So I would love to hear from our listeners. Shoot us a comment and let us know if contribution is important to you. And if so, what type of contribution is important to you that makes you feel fulfilled? Tony Robbins talks about the core human needs, and there are 4 core human needs, and then there are 2 additional ones. So the 4 core ones are certainty. But we have certainty, meaning we have comfort in things being the same, remaining steady. But then we also have a need for uncertainty, or for variety in our lives. And then we have a need for significance, and we have a need for love and connection. Now, all of us are motivated by those 4, just some at different levels. Like, for some people, significance is the highest. It could be good or bad. Like what's it called? The 9/11 guy, Osama bin Laden. He was driven by significance, and he achieved that. Now he was a bad guy, but he was significant for what he wanted to be significant for. And so that in itself is not always a good motivator because it's that personal significance. It's back to the ego in the self. But the other two core human needs that most people don't quite get to unlock, and that's when you get to the next level, is growth and contribution. And growth meaning wanting to exceed one's capacity or understanding of the world. And of course, contribution is that need, that desire to serve others and make a difference and give back. And this could be volunteering, it could be philanthropy, helping, teaching. There are so many forms of contribution. But when you are aware of those core human needs that are more about the self, but then transcending into the desire to help other, to grow and to contribute and help others, that's when I believe you unlock keys to the next level.
I love that. And I think to sum it up, and the king move that I would suggest is sit down, give it some thought. How do you contribute to others by doing? So some acts, but how do you contribute to others just by being? And that to me is about building relationships and having good quality relationships. You contribute to those people's lives just by being part of their lives. That's a good one. I need to give that one some thought myself.
All right. Thanks, Justin.
Thanks, Ethan.